Good morning. This is Dave Turner from Tabletop Journal, and this is our designer forum of our Tabletop Matters channel. And this morning we're going to Stavanger, Norway to talk to Constance and Tanya from Odd Standard. Odd Standard is one of the coolest design firms in hospitality tabletop today, and we're really thrilled to have them join us. So good morning, or good afternoon to you all in Stavanger.
Good afternoon, Dave.
How are you today?
Very well, thank you. We're good.
Good. I want to get right into it. So I know you both have extensive careers in design, and particularly hospitality tabletop design, but also industrial design. And I want to know sort of a little bit about the background and how that led to the development and the creation of Odd Standard. So maybe you can fill us in. And how is Odd Standard a little bit different than some of the other design firms that are out there?
We started Odd Standard 1.5 years ago. After working like 10 years for my part at Figio, and before that at Rosenthal in Germany. And Tony had worked 4 years?
Yes, we worked together in Figio, and we found this common fascination for the experience of eating and for working with restaurants and for working with the tabletop products. Yeah. And when we left Figio, we wanted to continue doing that, but in a different way.
More experimental and also in a smaller scale, because industrial production is all about making a lot of volumes, but also making them affordable and in the right production techniques and so on. Yeah.
I have a quick question on the small scale. I love what you're doing, and I think to me, some of the products that I've seen from you to me seem very handcrafted, and that's what I love about it. But the real question is how can you scale that, and how can that become a real business? The smaller production quantities.
Yes, I think we have a fascination for crafts and for material that you see in everything we do. From, of course, products we make in our own workshop. We have our own ceramic workshop where we make small series, and of course they will be very crafted. But also the larger series that we make in collaboration with other manufacturers, they have a sort of craftedness about them that comes from I think the way we start any product or project is by understanding the manufacturing process and working with that and with the material.
And I also think that it's possible to scale it a bit by combining the things that we do ourselves, like 100 pieces, combined with things that we will do or we're doing more like 1,000 pieces in collaboration with others. So it's not one product on its own. It's a combination of the products that will make them also interesting.
Yeah.
I know you have designed all kinds of industrial products in your background, both your backgrounds. Why did you end up choosing dinnerware, and why working with these crazy people called chefs?
Yeah, why? We ask ourselves that.
Yeah, we sometimes do.
For my part, it started actually with a coincidence. I started to work with design in porcelain. And from porcelain and for the retail market, I got a little bit fed up with this kind of fashion part of it. It's fashion also in the hospitality industry, of course, but it's more long-term trends and tendencies than this kind of light blue in the spring or this autumn is aubergine color or whatever.
Yes, the consumer market seems to be much more fickle.
Yes, definitely.
It always changes.
And also to work with the hospitality industry, you get the possibility to work with people that are trying to achieve something, achieve more than just making a nice or setting a nice table. They try to achieve some kind of communication with their food, and a lot of the times we find that the chefs think a lot like the designers. It's like having the raw material and trying to make the best out of it, and also making it fast and possible to recreate and so on.
Yeah, I think when we started I started working with tabletop and with chefs and restaurants, I discovered just that it's quite a similar way of thinking, but with completely different knowledge. So working together as designers and chefs on creating an experience for the guest or the eater is it's a very interesting way of working, I think.
And just one more thing I like to add is that when you work or design something that people are going to eat from or even touch with their lips and so on, people tend to have an opinion about it. And it's always nice when people have an opinion on what you're doing, even if it's not necessarily always positive. It's nice to be able to talk to people about what you're doing.
Is there, there's no doubt that designing tabletop, and you have certainly expanded the definition of tabletop. Some of the things you're doing, and just hope you have some there to show us. But I also, as you were talking, I was also thinking about artists working with artists. You are both very creative artists. The chefs themselves are very creative, and I wonder, does that help being an artist working with other artists, or is it is there a simpatico? Is there a sort of another level that you understand each other, or is it make it more complicated?
I think most of the time it helps. It helps because you are able to use the right words, you are able to communicate and so on. Sometimes it's tricky because we are all about what we think is the best way, and we have our opinion, and we are a bit stubborn. Like the chefs.
No, really?
I think in a way, I mean, it all depends who you work with, but I think it makes it a bit more complicated, but we never wanted it to be easy.
No.
If we had wanted it to be easy, we would have done something else, because tabletop products, although they're not really high-tech products, they're complicated in different ways. Then they have functional requirements, especially in the hospitality industry, that you don't have at home. So I think complicated is just a good way of doing something better.
Yeah.
Yeah, some wise people one time told me that the good things are never easy.
Yeah, it's true.
So,
we agree.
design firms, in our experience, all have a certain style or a certain approach to design. What would be Odd Standard's approach or philosophy, or how do you go about coming up with some of the products you create? Because I suspect, and while you're thinking about that, I suspect a lot of the things that you're creating are beyond what somebody, a chef, might have thought that they needed.
I don't know if we have. I don't feel like we have a certain approach to it. But what we have learned by working with tableware or tabletop products for so many years is that you should never underestimate things happening by accident, or you should never underestimate faults, or you should never underestimate ideas that you think come too quickly or too easy or too difficult. It's like we're broad-minded in how we work, but we always wanted to be something that can give a certain extra to the dinner service, or a certain extra joy for the people working with the products as well. Like the chef should enjoy using our products, should enjoy putting the dish together on our plate or our branch or whatever it is at the moment.
Yes, I think also we're very experimental at the moment.
Yes.
Since we started Odd Standard, we've been doing a lot of experimentation. We love to experiment, and I think it's many of the good things we've done is about seeing the right things and stopping at the right moment. Where other people might have seen faults, we sometimes see interesting possibilities. And also, I think it's the combination of the experimental and the functional way of seeing things. We don't stop at only experimental, we make sure it's also functional.
Yeah, because when you are, if you want to break some rules, you need to know the rules to break them. So when we know everything about how a plate should be round, stackable, durable, chip resistant, and all these things, most of the time white, and all these things, then it's fun to do. Then it's fun to do a branch of juniper cast down in concrete and things, because you break the rules, but you know how the rules really are working.
Yeah, you know which rules you can break, and when you know when to break rules and when to not break them.
Yeah.
I think if you follow all the rules, you miss most of the fun.
Yes.
So
Definitely.
I don't know if that's an old saying or a new saying, but I believe it, and I agree. And I would say from the things that I have seen that you've produced, you definitely are breaking rules.
Yeah, and I think that's also the advantage of working in smaller scales, because when we don't have to have a product in sale for the next 10 years or in many tens of thousands. We can make 20 and we can stop at 20 if we want. So of course that gives us a great possibility to explore and to break rules if we want to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose that being being able to produce in small scale allows you to not be handcuffed by certain production methods or techniques.
Yeah, and I think our name, Odd Standard, we chose that name because we wanted to say also with our name that we do both the odd and the standards. We also make products that are more standard but still have a visual quality and a functional quality, but that are not so weird and so experimental.
Is there a particular chef or a particular type of chef that you prefer to work with?
I think we prefer to work with the people that want to explore more, that want to test the limits for their work, and also are quite open-minded, so we can have an interesting dialogue and then see together what can we actually make. Not the chef that are kind of dictating us to what we are supposed to do.
It doesn't work to dictate us.
No, it doesn't work. And also maybe a chef that likes to go their own road or way, that doesn't just follow everybody else.
Is there a type of customer or maybe a specific chef that you haven't worked with that you'd like to?
Oh, there's so many. There's so many. We don't. I think that there are so many young chefs also with big ambitions.
Yes, and female chefs. We work mostly with male chefs until now. We've worked a lot with many great Norwegian chefs, and now we're starting to look outside of Norway. So we would love to work with some more people in other countries. Yeah.
But we don't want to name a certain chef. No.
Well, you might leave a few out if you've named them. So that might be a problem.
And of course, we would also like, again, to work with mass production, with larger companies as designers, because that's another part of what we want to do. So that's a possibility as well.
Yeah, because sometimes I never thought I was going to say this, but sometimes I kind of miss some of the rules in industry. I think it's also challenging to make sure that you are doing something that is really, really right for the certain kind of production and so on. And it's fun to work with those frames or rules as well.
Well, I think that Scandinavian cuisine has really taken the world by storm over the past handful of years. And in terms of dinnerware, you two have really had a heavy influence in that area.
Thank you.
So I expect that we'll continue with Odd Standard. But where will Odd Standard be in the next few years? Let's say 3 to 5 years. Where would you like Odd Standard to be as a company?
I think our ambition is not to build Odd Standard into a very, very large company, but of course we would like to grow a little bit. I think most important for us is to do things that are good, very good, and things that are different from what other people do, so that we make a mark in the industry we're in. And well, we'd love to be someone that chefs, talented chefs all over the world would like to work with, I think.
And we want to be established in at least 1 or 2 markets outside of Scandinavia. Yeah. So we.
Well, I can tell you, we at Tabletop Journal are very excited about all the things that you're doing. So we will help spread that word.
That's great.
I asked once before, a little before, hopefully that you have a product or two there that you can show us. Is there anything that you can show us this morning? Maybe new, maybe people haven't seen from Odd Standard?
Just a second, Dave.
Because the one, Tanya, while Constance is doing that, here she's back so quick. You have so many good products. Look at that.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my God, that's beautiful.
Let's see. This is a bowl we recently made for a Norwegian restaurant called Maemo. It's made from black clay.
Spanish.
And it's very, very thin, and it has a very light feeling to it.
And what did they serve in that? Do you know what are they serving?
They used it. I think they use it for many different things.
Desserts, maybe.
Was one version that they did. I think it was white truffle for a celebration at Geranium in Copenhagen, because Espen at Maemo brought this bowl with him to Geranium. So it's and then I think he has used it for many different dishes at the moment.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Quite small though.
And we wanted to show you another product as well. This is one of our first standard products. While this is very odd, this is more standard. It's called Rocky, and it's made from soapstone. In the deep, deep forests of Finland, we work with a Finnish producer, a small Finnish soapstone factory that does great work.
And this we have delivered to many, I don't know, a few restaurants, and they use it very hot. They heat the bowl before they put the dish into it, or they even make the dish into the bowl, or they kind of cool it down and serve it almost like a frosted. It has a soft frosted touch to it.
Yeah, it has interesting qualities when it comes to heat and cold, and I think that's also a characteristic for what we do. We're also very interested in the technical and the functional qualities of a material and a product.
Well, I continue to tell people wherever I go that for me, somebody who's been in this business for more than a few years, that this is absolutely the most exciting time in my lifetime in hospitality tabletop. And it's because of people like you, because tabletop today can be whatever you can dream it to be.
Yes.
And their chefs are more accepting. The guests are looking for better experiences, and certainly the things from Odd Standard really, really help that guest experience. So thank you very, very much for all your great creativity, and thank you again for your time this morning. I know you're busy producing products before the end of the year and all that. But we love it, and we want to check back in with you down the road if that's okay.
Yeah, please do.
Of course.
Yeah.
From time to time, we want to come back and see some of those really secret items that you're producing, like those bowls. Those are fabulous. So thank you again, and congratulations on such a successful company.
Thank you. Bye, Dave.
Bye-bye.